UK PM Johnson orders for plans to end reliance on Chinese imports, The Times. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has instructed civil servants to make plans to end UK's reliance on China for vital medical supplies and other strategic imports in light of the coronavirus outbreak. That title is clickbait, if not outright fraudulent. The US needs to do the same. Maybe we could form a union with similar countries and interests like Germany, Spain, and France. Who is the UK gonna rely on then? Guess the world will be looking to India or something for slave labor, child labor, environmentally reckless manufacturing, dollar store garbage, affordable goods. Cakes it. Brexit too, nothing like a near-death experience to change your view on things. This is not a move against the Chinese. It's normal for a nation to want to control vital medical supplies for its own citizens. It shouldn't be viewed as a rebuke against China or any nation. The only way for this to happen in the UK, Canada, and America is, if billionaires bring back manufacturing and pay a living fucking wage. The only reason why the working poor, and middle class are fucking dying is billionaires don't give a fuck about country. Just Wall Street. I do hope this is the year the world collectively decides to be done with China's shit. Does anyone remember TPP? That whole thing was about negating China. Who would have thought a large communist-controlled country that's building subs and aircraft carriers and creating artificial islands would potentially be hostile? Yes, letting them into the WTO and putting all your factories there was a brilliant idea, just brilliant. Nothing will go wrong. Yeah boy. I love this, I wish we would do this in the US as well. Good, I hope all countries follow through. I always like seeing when things are made in my own country. It brings trust, honor, and hope seeing that my country is independent. Whether or not you like China or think we should continue trade, this pandemic has highlighted how China is the world's single point of failure. Manufacturing everything yourself is one approach but requires the most investment. The alternative is to diversify supply so that geographically and politically distant countries supply the same set of goods, so that in case one gets knocked over, the others can take over with little friction. I would make manufacturing vital equipment for the NHS part of the NHS, therefore it wouldn't need to make a profit. I'd even use prisoners for some of the simple mundane sweatshop stuff. Finally, have a balance and good trading with Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and ASEAN and India. Assist Africa to develop as well. Good luck. If Johnson told me it was raining, I'd still go outside to see if it was or not. The COVID briefings we get are glorified party political broadcasts on a daily basis. He has handled it disastrously, at the cost of thousands of lives. One of the most bizarre things is we as a nation have an epidemic plan that could have been massively effective, cost millions to develop, in the last decade, and it got completely ignored. The world has lost the trade war with China already, in large part because of the pair of blonde clowns running the UK and US. I work for Amazon and I'm not sure there is a single thing sold there that isn't from China. Def. America and all the world should follow suit. Stand with HK and Taiwan. Yeah, I want to see UK wholly domestically built electronics again. Guess that would end up in things like 5-megapixel cam phones for £5,000 apiece. If only they had some sort of Eurozone, some form of unified countries that could band together to mass produce required materials with proper manufacturing controls. I guess we'll never know. There is always one pedantic asshole in every bunch who doesn't understand sarcasm. I'm looking at you, grail-shaped beacon. Good luck to Britons and the rest of the world. Get rid of Chinese dependence. Every other country should follow suit. We should focus on the EU. Say it loud. Say with me, fuck the CCP. Genuine question, how well is this expected to go, seeing as China practically owns the world's supply of rare earth minerals and can therefore dictate modern technological manufacturing? What about the steelworks and other vital industries that the conservatives have let die or move abroad in the last 10 years? They refuse to save steelworks at Redcar, saying private companies should not be helped, allowing an essential industry in an area of already high unemployment and deprivation to close. Britain now has so few steel works that in a time of crisis we would not be able to produce enough steel for ourselves. We once produced the most steel in the world. Chickens are coming home to roost. Removed. Removed. Let's do the same, Murica. If only there was some kind of trading bloc the UK could work with to end their reliance. It sure would be helpful if he has a nearby trading partner to work with, a union of countries of some sort. Create a tax for products created that violate human rights through it being made so local businesses can compete with slave labor, at nearby UK. Lie to the poor and flood the markets with shitty knockoffs? Absolutely fine. Lie to the rich and impede the world's economy in preparing for a lockdown? All of a sudden people who care come out of the woodwork. Nice to see he is doing well. Last I heard he got COVID. Yay, it's not like they'll start manufacturing PPE and other essentials in the UK, it'll get sourced from India or Vietnam. He can't. I tell you why. You who reading this comment, take a look at your apparel's label. You won't be able to find anything that is not made in China. Even your tag hooers are made in China and assembled in Switzerland. America is a shit show as well, but the lesser evil one, I think. Hell, it's about time someone started. Good move, Boris. Laughing. Yes. How many imports does the United Kingdom get that are directly from the United States and not translocated production? So are they still building Hinkley Point? As that's a fair strategic resource. Every country must follow this. In fact, consumers must start boycotting made in China goods. There goes all the iPhones. Until he won. Promises to bring those manufacturing jobs to the UK and not just somewhere else so we can get jobs and become actually self-sufficient, and 2. Promises to get rid of reliance on China for anything, then I'm still labor. Cut off CCP, bring back supply chains. This is the kind of thing the whole world should be talking about. I am wondering what the Chinese government's response is going to be. They can threaten nations like what they did with Australia, but they can't keep companies from leaving. What do they want to do? Force their planes to stay on the ground, or impound all companies' resources? I'm looking forward to my Sir Clive Sinclair designed mobile phone. You know, I bet Europe has vital medical supplies and strategic imports. Or did you miss that email? So now China should make them addicted to opium, take some of their harbors, and force them to take the imports? Thinking face. So it begins. Oh, so we can become entirely reliant on the US post-Brexit? Fab. Love a bit of chlorine in my chicken. Been saying for a long time that China needs to be boycotted. Even if the jobs don't come to the West, it could encourage economic growth in other poor countries. I'd rather see other poor countries improve their economy than dumping more cash to a communist dictatorship which is hell-bent on takeovers and disrupting world economy. China has become the bully in the schoolyard that everyone hates. Time to do something about it? Fuck China. The plan: move it all to India and don't solve the problem at all. Fascist BJP India. Much nicer than communist China. Ontario is doing the same. Maybe bring back manufacturing in general. Hey Australia. Think you could do that? Is it just me, or is Boris kinda on a hot streak lately? It's almost like getting the coronavirus scared him straight. So are we actually going to build something and realize that the banking sector is not and shouldn't be the only focus in this country? The pandemic has exposed weaknesses in our society: lack of coordination when dealing with pandemic, lack of preparation despite warnings about a pandemic, the economy which is barely moving, and the fact the millionaires/billionaires don't drive our spending. We need to start moving factories back here as well as becoming a tech hub. Yes, we can have a powerful banking sector, but not to the detriment of everything else.